Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here, and today I wanted to talk to you all about the recently buffed Demonology trait, Explosive Potential. Last week, said trait was buffed by a whopping 100%, effectively making it best in every scenario at 2 or more stacks. Now, I have to admit that I'm not sure how long it will actually last in its current form, but we might as well have some fun and talk about it while we still can. With these changes, there were also some changes made to our opener with Nether Portal, while also making Demonic Consumption an actual option in our final talent row. If you're interested in any of the weak auras or add-ons you see here, I'll have a link to my Twitch and Discord in the description where you can acquire them all. Let's start off by looking at the Nether Portal rotation I've been following post-buff. Our Nether Portal opener starts off with a precast Demon Bolt into Hand of Gul'dan, 3 Shadow Bolts building to 5 shards, and then Implosion for the Explosive Potential buff. You then enter the normal Nether Portal rotation of Dreadstalkers into Vile Fiend, Felguard, and then typically 3 1-shard Hand of Gul'dans unless you have some Demonic Core procs laying around. You then go into your Tyrant and Hand of Gul'dan thanks to Baleful Invocation, followed by Implosion to refresh your Explosive Potential buff. If you have Bilescourge Bombers selected over the Demonic Strength talent, and those last 2 shards are left over from Baleful Invocation, can be used for bombers there. It is most certainly worth having the Explosive Potential buff before entering your Nether Portal rotation, and this has so far been the best rotation to me in actual testing over the course of a few days. Outside of your opener, it's mainly about maintaining your EP buff every 15 or so seconds while watching your main cooldowns. In Mythic Plus, you will most likely be running a build consisting of Bilescourge Bombers and either Sacrifice Souls or Demonic Consumption in your final talent row. While Sac Souls does lose a good bit of value due to the nature of Explosive Potential, I still think that it's a good choice for Mythic Plus. However, we have seen more and more Demonic Consumption builds popping up recently, which I want to discuss in a moment here. As far as optimal Azerite traits go, the general consensus seems to be triple Explosive Potential regardless of whatever scenario, and then 1 Baleful Invocation, 1 Supreme Commander, and 1 Treacherous Covenant for most raid encounters. For Mythic Plus, I feel you will gain more from running 1 stack of Demonic Meteor over Treacherous Covenant, as you're casting so many Hand of Gul'dans through a dungeon and most of them cleave. As mentioned, Demonic Consumption has been gaining a lot of ground over the last few days due to Sac Soul's poor interaction with Explosive Potential, and while I feel Nether Portal is still the best overall choice for single target fights, Demonic Consumption does greatly buff your Tyrant, which is on a 1.5 minute cooldown, compared to Nether Portal, which is at 3 minutes. This does effectively give you a lot more consistent on-demand burst damage, which is also a great bit easier to manage on the move. Fights like Opulence, Conclave, and others with heavy movement or frequent priority adds, I feel are potentially good candidates for consumption. The same can be said for Mythic Plus in a sense, factoring in both movement and other mechanics on trash and bosses alike. Overall, the jury is still out on what the optimal Demonic Consumption or opener is, both when it comes to actual imp count as well as what to cast before your Tyrant. This is the opener that I found to be most effective, which does work in Explosive Potential before your actual Tyrant. The opener consists of precasting Demon Bolt, Hand of Gul'dan, Called Dreadstalkers, Soul Strike, and then Implosion for your EP buff. You cast Grimoire Felguard after that, and then build to 5 shards via Demon Bolt procs or Shadow Bolt, then cast Hand of Gul'dan into Soul Strike, and Hand of Gul'dan once again, and then your Demonic Tyrant. With 3 stacks of EP and a Haste proc, Trinket, or Bloodlust, you're also able to catch your Dreadstalkers here before they expire with your Demonic Tyrant's extension. Now, I have seen some openers that implode before casting Tyrant and some that don't. However, I feel that having EP up before your Tyrant is the best route to go. It also ensured for me that my Demonic Tyrant got 10 cast off instead of 9 before he expired, which is huge when playing with Consumption. Other haste buffs also contribute to additional casts, such as Berserking, Trinkets, Procs, and or Bloodlust. Once again, I do want to reiterate that these openers might not be 100% optimal. They're simply ones that I found to be the most effective over 2 or so days of testing. There are also some consumption builds running around using Inner Demon, Soul Conduit, and or Summon Vile Fiend, but I found this current build with Felguard to be the best for me. I would say that if you're interested in experimenting with EP and or Demonic Consumption, then you take a few minutes to smack a dummy and try it out for yourself. Either way, Explosive Potential is a blast to play with right now. I'm personally sitting just over 50% haste self-buff with EP active, which is just insane. While I'm not too sure that it will last, it is certainly something that you should give a chance if you have the time before potential nerfs come in. Thanks for watching, guys. I really hope this video helped you all further understand explosive potential and how it is in both Mythic Plus and Raid environments. As mentioned, I'm not too sure if this current form of EP will last through next week, but I suppose we're just going to have to wait and see. I feel it is going to go the same way that Sudden Onset did honestly for Affliction after being buffed way too much in Uldir, but who knows. Hopefully it will still remain a playable trait even if it is only at 2 or 3 stacks, as Demonology really does feel smooth with these high levels of haste. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below and I'll be sure to get back to you. If you want to see more WoW content and help support the channel, smash those like, share, and subscribe buttons, as your support really helps. Thanks guys, and I'll see y'all later this week. Peace.